Hello, Goddess. Welcome back to my channel. This is Andrea with You Are Mind, Body, Soul. And in this space, I guide goddesses to bridge the mind, body, and soul through psychosomatic education, consciousness reconditioning, as well as alchemy and energetics. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. We have finally made it. Yay, give it up for yourselves. I am so happy to be here in this space, so happy to be stepping into this next chapter of my life personally, because life is just so beautiful and so wonderful. And I hope that things are going well in your world as well. And I'm also just so happy about what's happening for this channel and the expansion and the energy that I get to share with you. Today, we are going to talk about becoming the main character of your life, having that main character energy, being the focal point of your life and allowing the world that you create to simply be that, an emanation of that in which you are. You're the main character of your life. So as you think about where you want your life to be and the memoir that is you, goddess, insert your name here, what would you like for the end credits to say on your life? What songs would you like to sing and be heard through your personal expression? And what would you like to create? What is your legacy? So before I get deep into this topic, please remember to smash that like button because it helps the algorithm do its magical, mysterious thing. Please remember to subscribe if you are new to this channel. And also remember to share so that other goddesses such as yourself can receive these messages and transmissions as well. So let's get into it. You know that I have my notes. Y'all know how we do. So when you are the main character of your life, so when I say the statement main character, what is it that you think of? Who is it that you think of? Like, are there any celebrities or are there any famous figures throughout history that come to mind when I make the statement becoming the main character of your life? And as we begin into this topic, I want to encourage you to think about what is it about those individuals that really remind you of the statement main character, and just feel into that place within yourself that really makes you say, I resonate with that. I feel that energy and that vibration. For me, it is goddesses. So any kind of goddess throughout history, because goddesses, they become solidified throughout history and solidified in our consciousness because of the way in which they show up for their own personal story. Every goddess, just like every hero, goes through a process of becoming. And when you are tapping into the main character energy for yourself, I want you to think of yourself as always becoming, as blooming, unfolding, evolving, expanding into the most beautiful and aligned version of yourself. What feels good for you? And the goddesses throughout history, they have made their mark because they made themselves, center point in their journeys, and they tapped into their own personal confidence. So having confidence is something, for me personally, what I have found is that when I focus on something, a goal or a desire, and I show up for that thing consistently, and I bring myself to a state of mastery, I build confidence. And when I am confident, I feel like the main character of my life. And every goddess made her mark in history through the confidence of her expression as her story unfolded. So as you bloom and as you expand and as you unfold, you step more and more into the main stage of your life's memoir, because you are writing your own story, because you are confidently becoming who you were always meant to be, who you were who you have manifested yourself into being. Okay. So your confidence is coming from your authentic expression and your authentic commitment to your experience and the unfolding of your experience. And as we are growing in our confidence, it's important to remember that, of course, especially as women, life is not linear. So it's a non-linear journey, and because we are also rhythmic beings, as I also always talk about, we're always going through these stages of expansion and through contraction. I remember in my personal journey when I first started off on my spiritual journey, and I had all of these ideas of who I was actually just these templates that were placed on top of me. Okay. So the ideas and the voices of other people, those were just templates that were placed on top of my deepest authentic self. And it wasn't until I became committed to my journey that I actually found out who I really was, and I became confident in that. And that path took several years of zooming into myself and then zooming out and, taking the world stage that I was experiencing life on, and then thinking about who I was and how that world stage was reflecting back to me, and then focusing on the things about the world stage or my experience, my manifested experience, and then receiving that which was going to feed my evolution. And over time, I found that there was an expansion and a contraction process that was occurring for me. And just like the seasons here in the Northern Hemisphere, as we are in the winter season, life is contracting. So it's getting cold. Things are not blooming. The leaves are falling off of trees. Things are slowing down. We have those contractions within ourselves. And I remember for many years, I would go through these phases of great expansion where I was comfortable with being seen and open and vibrant. And then I would contract back into these old patterns of fear, which would then become these behaviors. Because when we are dealing with a lot of trauma and we're working through trauma, trauma embeds itself, as we spoken about in one of the previous videos. What video was that we talked about trauma? I don't think I haven't, I didn't, it's the video this the last video that came out, releasing trauma of the past, overcoming your past. Check that video out. I'll link it below. So as I was overcoming trauma, I would go through these states of contraction where you shrink and you become small and you are internal and you're doing the inner work. So I found myself having extended periods of contraction based on the experience and my body and my consciousness trying to deal with these old vibrational patterns. And so it took me several phases of expansion and contraction to come into a space where I was in that happy middle, that happy medium. And so when you become the main character of your life, one thing that I have found is that, yes, I still go through big expansions, big wins, big successes, where my energy is open and I am pouring out and I am exuding creative energy through my pores. And yes, I also go through phases of contraction where I am doing my inner work, where I am searching and I am seeking and I am learning and I am nurturing. But what I've found that as I evolve in my consciousness is that my contractions are now regenerative contractions. Whereas before, my contractions would be me shutting the world off in a way that was questionable for my mental health. And, I wasn't seeking the support from communities and relationships that I needed. Okay. And I would disappear in a not good way. So there's ways in which you can disappear, and there are ways that are not healthy when you disappear. And when I was not showing up for myself and I didn't want to participate in life, because life, it takes a lot to show up for life with a higher consciousness. Okay. And so now that I am more in tune with my rhythm and I have mastered my personal vibration, which is also what I teach clients to do as a goddess life coach, is to master your own personal vibration. I find that when I can track, now I can kind of see them coming, where I'm like, okay, I've shown up, I've given to the world, I have done these creative things. So last year in 2023, I published a book. I finally started the Goddess Mystery Academy. Check out the website, yams.co. I did several performances where I worked with dancers, and we created these beautiful pieces of work, all of these expansions. And then I know I can feel when the contractions are coming in, where I am ready to not give as much, and I need to kind of come into that shell, into that cave, like the cave that I spoke about in the winter solstice video. It's a very powerful video where we talk about cave medicine, okay, and that regenerative process. So now when I go through my contractions, I know that I need a little bit of space from showing up on like social media platforms, or for social instances where I am just working on that regenerative process, that transmutational process of taking what I have learned and processing and digesting and allowing myself to rest. Okay. So when you become the main character of your life, you become fully in alignment and attunement with your expansions and your contractions. And this is one of the main big things that I have learned about becoming the main character of my life, and also helping women and clients become the main characters in their life. Okay. So you begin to awaken your consciousness, which is your self-perception and your awareness of how life is unfolding based on the way in which you are observing it and interacting with it, the things that you are saying yes to, becoming more discerning about those things, as well as the things that you are declining and rejecting, and making sure that they are in alignment with the path that you are consciously walking with yourself. When you become the main character of your life, you are walking with all of the parts of yourself. Okay. And I want you to think about it as we're moving through this, and ask yourself now, when I am walking in my life, am I walking through life fully aware of the things that make me happy, and the things that elevate my frequency? So ask yourself, am I aware of the things that elevate my frequency? And am I aware of the things that kind of dampen my frequency? So your shine, your sheen. This is our most powerful gift as conscious beings, is the consciousness. When you start to do your inner work and you begin to tap into the vibration, your personal authentic vibration, you then develop a shine about you, a sheen about you. And when you are walking through life with discernment, and you are choosing things and you are opting out of things, those things are either elevating your shine or they are depressing your shine, right? So for me, I know that when I contract and I am processing emotions, I am processing experiences, I am tapping into my vibration and what I want to create and what I want to bring, this makes me more shiny. People ask me, how I've managed to be shiny, and, women gravitate towards me, different opportunities gravitate towards me. It's because I'm always polishing myself. I'm always polishing my energy, and I'm polishing my vibration. Let me grab a cup of water here. So ask yourself, are you tending to your inner garden? Okay. Are you polishing your vibration? Are you making sure that you're spending time shining yourself up? Okay. Also, main character energy is important, because if you are not the main character of your life, you're going to be assigned a character role in someone else's life. You're going to be a side character in someone else's life, in someone else's memoir. Okay, you'll be assigned an identity if you are not successful with tapping into your authentic essence. And these will show up in the form of, living the same life year in and year out. Okay, some people live the same life over and over, waking up, going to work, coming home, zoning out on screens, not really accomplishing anything new or significant or having new experiences. They will live the same life for years on end until maybe perhaps some kind of extraordinary circumstance or experience shakes them and wakes them out of the slumber. So when we have that shiny consciousness, that awakened consciousness from doing the inner work, we are now the main character of our lives and not just relegated to a position that the next authority figure has over us. And if you follow my channel, you know how I feel about authority. And I'm really big as a sovereign being, as an activated feminine, divine feminine, as I have my activated divine feminine energy as a sovereign goddess being, I'm all about being the authority of my own life and making sure that I am co-signing with spirit the choices that I make in life and the path that I walk in life. And one thing that I have found that has made me so powerful in being the confident goddess main character of my life is tapping in with spirit, learning how to have those conversations and speak with spirit and ask for that guidance, as well as wait and give it time to receive the guidance. Listening. I love it when I ask a question from spirit and that evening I'm in the shower and then all of a sudden like this light bulb goes off in the shower that I have to get out and start writing down all of those ideas. That's just such a great feeling. Please like this video if you know what it feels like to be divinely inspired. I love divine inspiration, and it just comes, divine inspiration and direction comes when you are truly present with your path. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Another important aspect of being the main character of your life and why it's important to be the main character of your life is because we are giving. We are giving beings as women. We nurture communities. Okay. We nurture our friendship circles. We nurture our projects. We're giving. But it's important for you to be the main character of your life so that when you nurture and you give, you're giving from a cup that is already overflowing. Because if your cup is full and then you pour out of your cup, then you're not full. We want to always be full and always be tending to our frequency so that that overflow happens. Okay. So how do we become the main character of our life? Right now I have 7 points. We'll see if this actually ends up being 7 or if it ends up being more, but I have a couple ways. So I have a list of ways that have helped me to become the main character of my life, where I wake up every day feeling happy about the life that I live, happy about my work and my interactions, and happy about the way in which I am serving humanity, knowing that I am serving humanity from a healed space that has gone through many transformations out of those healings, and from a whole space and not a space that is separated or segmented or fragmented, a full, whole, overflowing, healed place. Okay. So number one I have is know who you are. Okay, babe, you got to know who you are in today's world. There are so many things so many subversive forces that are out here working against feminine consciousness as well as the consciousness of all beings of light. Okay. There are forces out here that are trying to take us and shape us into beings that are cogs in the system, that feed a system that is destroying itself, right? And so it's important to know who you are so that you can stand strong and be grounded in your personal significance and vibration. Okay. And the best way to do this, well, one of the most direct ways of knowing yourself is to get into journaling, to journal, to ask questions when you journal things out, have that conversation with yourself. Because the thing about journaling is when you journal, you are able to actually document your journey. Okay. And when you go to look back at those journals, you can really see how you have grown and how you have developed. I look back at some of my journals from like a decade ago, and I'm like, oh my God, I was such like a sacred medicine woman healer. Like it was always in my journey, it was always my destiny to be a healer. Like the way that I interact with nature, it's always been that way. And then specifically when I went to go look at my human design work, so human design, okay, is how you were designed at the point of conception, your energy, how you respond to life, your personality, how the way that you were raised is going to affect the choices that you make as far as jobs and any kind of relationship. Human design has been super powerful and it gets very detailed, okay? Because when you know yourself from a standpoint of human design, you recognize that every interaction that you have is an exchange, okay? So when it comes to alchemy and energetics, okay, there's always an exchange that is happening with life. Okay, so just how we are making that exchange with the world stage, and how we are looking at the world stage and perceiving it and receiving what it is, you know, we resonate with whatever level of consciousness we are seeing life, we are receiving life messages in that way. It's the same way when we have relationships and when we have interactions with different people. And the thing that I've learned about human design is that we have different energy centers in our body on top of the standard energy centers, like the chakra system. We have other energy centers that are similar in our body that are affected by other people. So, for example, if you are always around someone that is sending out a lot of energy, like the other day, I'll give you a perfect example. I was having a conversation with someone. This person talks a lot. Okay, this person talks a lot. And for me, I'm super empathic, right? Like I'm like a sponge. So I have to do a lot of astral hygiene to make sure that I'm not absorbing everything. Like this has been something that I've learned from doing my personal inner work. And this person was on high energy, just going and talking and talking and talking and talking. And where I was with my energy that day, I was like, whoa, I feel like I'm being hit with like a wall of energy. Have you ever had somebody that just comes in and they're just like a wall of energy? Are you that person? So I had this moment where I was like, whoa, I have to like, first of all, ground into my own energy so that none of my receptors end up filling up with this energy that this person is emitting, because I don't want it. I don't want that energy. That's their energy. And I have what I have going on in my own energy center. Right. And so I had to go into the space where I was like, okay, I got to put up some energetic barriers because I don't want to absorb that. Right. I'll be right back, guys. Let me fix this real quick. So hold that in mind. Okay. And just think about like how you're interacting with people's energy and what it is you're carrying. This is a very old picture of me, by the way. So what human design will do will show you, it will show you areas where you are more susceptible to receiving other people's energies, okay? So when people are telling you their ideas about success and they're sharing their process and their beliefs with you, you have to be careful because you can absorb that based on your human design, okay? Next up, I have take time for quiet reflection and receptivity, okay? Doing your inner work. Inner work will change your life. Okay. For example, for a very long time, there were some emotions that I was not willing to explore or visit. And I was allowing myself to run on these patterns of anger and run on these patterns of depression and anxiety. Like I talked about in the video, This Is What They Don't Want You to Know. I talked about my journey with depression and anxiety. Okay. And when I started to go through my contractions and I started to make my contractive stages more regenerative, I started to work through these emotions in my bodies. Okay. And the quiet and the reflection became this regenerative process. So taking time every single day of your life okay? To have time to reflect on how your day was. How did you interact with people? What do check-ins with yourself, like you can do like scale tests with yourself, like on a scale of 1 to 5, how am I feeling internally? Do this when you wake up, and then do this before you go to sleep. And I talk more about different activities and techniques to solidify your personal vibration inside of the Feminine Alchemy and Freedom Activator course as well. But when you start to quietly reflect on your day, then you start to check in with your vibration, and you start to awaken your awareness of how you're experiencing life, rather than just going and sitting on the screen, and numbing out and not really thinking about how your days of your life are changing and evolving, or waiting for something significant to happen that is unexpected to make you stop and really think about how your life is evolving. You must stop and take the time to reflect each and every day, because no one else is going to live your life for you. This is something that's your responsibility, right? Okay, so the next thing that I have is getting curious and asking questions. Okay, so when we ask questions, a lot of times, I know for me, when I was in my younger, more formative years, I used to ask questions and get really frustrated about the fact that I didn't have the answer. And the problem with it was with my young consciousness, it was always because thought I knew what the answer was. Okay, I thought I knew what the answer was, and I thought that the answer was supposed to come immediately. I did not have patience. I didn't have patience when I was younger. It's that pitta energy, that Ayurvedic dosha of like fire. I gotta have it. Like I've always got to be on 10. It's also that human design generator energy. Shout out to the human design generators. Okay. And so it was like always being on 10, just a lot of masculine energy and a lot of wild, untamed, feminine energy. It was a lot of sexual energy as well, that I also was able to tap into and tune into as I started to do more of my inner work. So when I started to get curious and ask questions, I found that there were these like these screens, these barriers up that I wasn't aware of energetically, kind of like a silk screen, or like a sheer curtain. There were always like these sheer curtains that when I started to ask different questions about myself, like, well, why do I feel this way about a particular topic? Why does this excite me? Instead of automatically going to judge myself, which is what we naturally do as women, okay, that are programmed by society, we're always judging our feelings rather than exploring them and accepting them and just following that path of curiosity to the source point. We tend to not even take that journey into ourselves. So I would love to know if you can relate to that, where it's like, oh, I have this curiosity about myself or this thing, but you don't want to take that journey because society has told you that it's taboo. I'm all about, facing taboos. Check out my video on shadow work, definitely for the dark goddess. Tapping into those taboo energies is where you're going to find that deep, juicy energy where you are really unearthing just some gems in life, and it just makes you so vibrant and so juicy and shiny. Okay. This is a brand new year. I'm all about that shine, baby. That main character energy is shiny. Okay. She is shiny. We are going to shine our lights. And if you're feeling this video, please put in the comments, I am shining my light. Put a heart, drop a white heart with that for me. Like the video and drop that mantra. I am shining my light. Okay. I am shining my light. I am shiny. I'm shiny, baby. I love being shiny. Okay. So we're asking questions, all right? Also, when you ask questions, you get to jump down some really amazing rabbit holes. And I remember when I was younger, so especially like 2017, what is this now? 2024. So that was like 7 years ago. That's when I was really asking like some real big questions about myself, because the interactions that I was having through my relationships was really activating these dormant things that were happening from previous lifetimes. So when you're the main character of your life and you become consciously aware, you start to roll with me and you start to take these courses and things start to jump off for you. You really start to realize that there's a prequel for your life. Okay. So your past lives, there were the prequels for this life. So when you have different soulmates and things that start to come on the board and interesting things start to get activated, old storylines and energetic threads of that start to activate for you, life really becomes interesting. Okay. So when I was really getting curious about myself because I was getting activated from soulmates that I had experienced previous life timelines with. Okay. So when we have different relationships and we choose timelines, we choose to walk timelines with every relationship that we get into. Okay. A timeline is like a thread. It's like a thread in a web. Okay. And when you consent to any kind of relationship, whether it be a positive relationship or a negative relationship, you're consenting to take that path or that journey with that person. And the thing about it is sometimes we don't know whether or not a lot of times, the thing about it is that a lot of times these are journeys that we chose to walk in previous lifetimes. Like we consented to these things before we got here because of that prequel past life energy. Okay. And if you follow my channel, you know I believe in reincarnation. I can't really express to you the profundity of this topics without recognizing the fact that we live multiple lives, because as someone that does a lot of past life work, a lot of past life healing, a lot of energy healing with clients and with other people, like this is my gift. Okay. So I have to add that to the conversation, and you don't have to believe in it. This is just something that I awakened in myself through my own personal journey and allowing myself to be the main character of my life without fear. Okay. So you get to jump down those rabbit holes and find those things out about yourself. And the one thing that I can say is when you really start to uncover new things about yourself, it can be very scary to disrupt the status quo that the ego has created for us because we have these personas, again, main character. So the ego is building a character. It is building a persona based on what it is you know and what it is you naturally feel comfortable with. In psychology, it's normal for the mind to attach to patterns and to attach to simplicity. So once the ego finds that something is working for it, so for example, if you always play coy and innocent, like you don't really know what's happening, and then you kind of get what you want, like that light goddess, kind of like I'm innocent, like that energy, that is a pattern, and you find that it works. Okay. But when you start to do your inner work and you start to jump down the rabbit holes and then more questions pop up for you, it can be very challenging. In my experience, it was kind of scary and pretty challenging. And it is a beautiful thing to have something to anchor and to ground into, whether it be a spiritual practice, some kind of physical practice, or a coach. And one thing that I wish that I had when I was going through this phase of my life, which I did have a life coach when I took my life coaching certification program, I had someone that was like, hey, magic is real. It's cool. Wake up. Like you're good. And especially when I was going through like my lonely phase, like there were some really, really lonely periods for me in my life because there were not a lot of people there was no one actually that I could speak to that I could relate to. I wish that I had someone at certain stages of my experience. I wish that I had someone that could walk with me. I did for a brief moment, but there were many times where I didn't have anyone. Okay. So if you're experiencing these awakenings and you have these new questions that are coming, I want to first of all let you know that you're not crazy, because some of this stuff can make you seem crazy if you tell the wrong person, or you'll start to think that you're going crazy if you don't have the strength and the confidence of self. Okay. please reach out to me. We can do some mind, body, soul coaching together, because we are in a new year. We're still in the winter season, and it is a wonderful, beautiful, opportune time for that. No one should have to walk this path alone. Okay. So when you get curious and you go down these paths and these rabbit holes, that's when you really tap into that gem. That's when you tap into the gold. That's when you unfold the pearl that is deep within. When you say yes to those journeys. I'm a big, big proponent and supporter of those. Okay. Next up, I have learn something new, explore. Explore new places, explore new hobbies, go out and do something that you have been curious about for a while, no matter whether or not you're doing it by yourself. Or maybe you have that one friend that's a writer that will pretty much do anything that you're down for. Go explore and go experience, go to new places. When I went to Mount Shasta in Northern California and I met the people that were living in that community, it really opened up my perspective to the fact that there are a lot of people that are having these very spiritually lush and rich lives, and they are in alignment with their life path and their life purpose, and it just feels so full and so delicious to be standing next to those people, receiving those frequencies off of them. Okay. As opposed to like my normal status quo is living in the city and being the person that is super energetic and vibrant and spiritual, and only every now and then coming across someone that is on that same wavelength, right? So when I was able to go to that new place, which is a very spiritual place because it's the root chakra of the planet, I was able to absorb that energy in person, and it makes a hell of a difference. Okay, so go to new places, have new experiences. It's going to expand you energetically. You will feel the difference that it makes to go into new places and new spaces. The conversations that you have with people will expand your mind. Okay, and if you're going to be the main character in your life, you want to be fortified, and you want to be grounded in yourself. And the more healthy relationships that you have that fill you up, those experiences that fill you up, make you stand taller on that center stage. Okay. The next thing I have is have goals. Okay. Have goals in life, have goals based on your authentic desire. And the relationship that we want to have with goals is not one. And I think that 2023 taught me how to have like a healthy relationship with goals. And your relationship with goals should be it should be fluid. And when I say fluid, what I'm talking about is the exchange of masculine and feminine energy. Because to bring anything into fruition, into physical, tangible being, requires the masculine and it requires the feminine. Okay. The sperm and the egg create the baby. So anything that requires creation needs masculine and feminine energies. And when it comes to goal setting, having goals in life, being a goal digger, okay, it's important to be very confident in what it is you want. Okay. And you might not know exactly what that is going to look like, but be confident that spirit, source, has spoken to you and told you that this is something that you can do. Whether or not the way in which you see it or the way in which it was delivered to you was incredibly clear, if the idea is coming up like from multiple different sources, know that it is in your vibrational frequency as a timeline possibility. It is very strong, right? So the actual physical manifestation of it, the potentiation of that is very strong. Okay. So the masculine side of it is the outcome, and it is the structure that is created, the plan that is created to get you to that final outcome. And it is the feminine energy that receives the inspiration, that pulls down the message and allows that to be shaped into something that is in alignment, that congeals with what your reality has to offer you. And it requires that feminine energy because a lot of times when we have ideas that we want to birth into existence, this is the manifestation process, feminine alchemy and freedom activator course. Sometimes life needs to evolve and things need to happen in order for us to deliver that thing. Okay. So for example, in order for me to come here and be confident on my YouTube channel, I needed those years of contraction. I took several years of contraction where I was single and I was celibate just to reflect and just to heal, just so much healing, y'all, in those 3 years. Okay. 3.5 years. All right. It took so much time to be able to prepare myself to show up on this platform. Right now I'm here physically, my voice is activated, I'm here with you, I'm dropping these videos every Monday. It took time for me to heal that feminine nurturing energy where I had to nurture myself. Okay. Like sometimes life just needs to happen. So another example is my wellness center that I go to take care of my body. So I'm a big proponent of things, natural lifestyle things and life hacks that support the evolution of the body. So as a full-time aerialist, as a full-time dance instructor and someone that just likes to go and create, now I have a space where I found I was driving around and the space was brand new and I walked into this wellness center and now they have everything that I need so that I can train like how I like to train. I like to train hard. I like to train for multiple hours a week and I like to perform. I'm 35 years old. Like I can't say, I'm not going to make that statement, but this is a lot. Now I have these life hack services that make me feel young, that make me feel vibrant, that support the lifestyle that I want to live for myself. So when you're creating goals, and I'm all about creating lifestyle goals, goddess lifestyle goals. Okay, there's a video on how to live your best goddess lifestyle. It's a great video. And this is what I coach on. It's like, how are you developing a lifestyle for yourself? What works for you? What works for me is being very active, training hard, using my voice, creating a ton of content, on YouTube courses. Like I love to create, I love to coach, I love to fill women up with energy that helps you to become shiny. And now I have everything that I need to support that. Like it showed up. So I had this desire for the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And then the facility had to be built. So when I first had this idea of moving my body like how I want to move, looking like how I want to look, creating at the pace in which I love to create, this facility was not created next to my neighborhood like it is now, right? And so now I get to go there and I get to do my cryotherapy and I get to do my compression therapy and I love to do my photobio modulation and all the other wonderful life hacks that I love to do. I'm all about life hacks. I'm going to update the 14-day Mind Body Soul Reset course with the rest of my life hacks. So in the 14 Mind Body Soul 14-day Mind Body Soul Reset course, I put like all my life hacks in there. Okay, all my supplements, all the things that I use to help me to just have fun in life, have fun, and just enjoy. Okay, so have those goals and be patient with your goals. Know that it requires masculine and feminine energy to bring goals into fruition. And 2023 showed me how to be flexible and how to move through my masculine and feminine energy. Okay, and I could make a whole nother video about setting goals and using your masculine and feminine energy. If I haven't made it already, I gotta go look about that. Okay, so the next one is learn how to say no. All right. This is pretty straightforward. It's boundaries 101. Everything can't be a yes. If you're a friend to everyone and you're a yes for everyone, then you're definitely a no to yourself. Okay. You can't please and appease everyone and still trick yourself into thinking that you are for yourself. Okay. You can't go around living your life like that. It just will not work. You will drain yourself out. You will look washed out and not shiny. But everyone around you will have fed off of your energy. You'll just be giving out all of your precious energy if you don't learn how to say no. And furthermore, respecting no from people when people set their boundaries, respecting that it's a no. Okay. And the last thing that I have is letting other people have their shine as well. Okay. So when you're the main character of your life, you don't get jealous of what other people have around you. And when other people are shining and they're doing well, you can respect that. And the reason that you can respect that and allow people to have their moment is because you know how much it takes to fortify and to build your frequency, right? So you are not being distracted by what other people have. Okay. I would rather have my problems than to take on someone else's problems. Okay. I am totally cool. Like, we all have our stuff that we have to work through and that we have to deal with. I would much rather have to deal with my own problems and my own circumstances than somebody else's. Therefore, what other people have is for them. All right. What they have is for them because they went through that journey to get it. And when we are tapping into our main character energy, our sovereign goddess vibration, we recognize that the light in other people is the light that is within ourselves. And so we want to be having positive mindsets towards other people's successes, because another reason being is if you're looking at other people and you are coveting their success and you are, sending out the evil eye towards these people, what that means is that they're now the main character in your life. Okay. If you think about it, because now what you're doing is your focus, whatever you focus on grows, you're taking all of your divine shiny energy and you're projecting it onto what other people have. So now they're taking up real estate in your mind and the memoir of your life that you're creating. And now they're the main character of your life. Right. So, it's just a real basic move to be focused on the negative narratives that you are creating in the toxic relationships that you have. And when you start doing your inner work as a goddess, you really start to tune into, taking emotional responsibility for your reactions in life to other people. Okay. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful. I will see you in the next one. One love. Mwah.